Ron, hello
Share
everybody. Actually, we're not live yet, but okay, we're
share your
live now.
screen.
Yeah, I should tweet it. Oh, and I have to stream it to you too. Okay, I'll set up things. This is the typical awkward start that we do. I just said that tweet. Uh, I did send out a tweet many hours ago. Um,
You did. Good job.
yeah, because of you. You kept bugging me until I did it. But
This has become my new mission on Tuesdays. Andrew, you needed a thumbnail now. Go.
yeah, I was like, what could be a thumbnail? I don't know what to make a thumbnail. I'll just take a broken boat and put Prigozhin and Romanov on it, and that's the thumbnail.
Like a great thumbnail to me. It's very topical.
Yeah. Speaking of boats, do you want to talk about the boat? I honestly have nothing to say about that boat, other than one thing. There is one thing I do want to say, because Djibouti made a video of this ship, and as soon as I find it, I want to show it, because his it's it was very easy to watch what happened and not understand what happened because the video isn't necessarily clear. So here's the video. Uh, oh boy. Uh, I'll make it bigger. Be bigger. Okay, so it's not necessarily. God. Okay, his naughty words. His naughty words were at the top of the screen the whole time. Anyways, when you view the video just on its own, it looked like one missile came in and hit the boat, and that kind of captures your attention, right? You don't necessarily readily see that there are three missiles hitting the boat, and that all three missiles came from a different angle. So Djibouti, he highlighted each missile with these like uh, lighting and lines, these like red lightings and highlights and stuff. So you can see each missile come in. So you see like the first one like comes like that way, and then like one comes from like a total like 180-degree angle away. It's just I think a lot of people miss that. That this ship was so much more pwned than I think people understood.
What I really appreciate about that is that it makes it look like space lasers did it. So
Yeah.
so there's that too. No, but actually it is really important. And it's really important that there were three of them. I've talked to a couple other people trying to sort out the direction that they came from and where they went over and what they would have been able to tell about air defense in Crimea because of that directionality, all of those types of things. It's a really interesting hit because the hit, like it's great ship. The ship doesn't have. Did your stream just end? Is it
Yeah.
ended?
It
But
Okay,
Discord just totally crashed on me, but that's okay. We're just gonna power through it.
cool. Great. I'll keep talking. Um, the ship is great that it got taken out. It had just come into service, and we're not even sure it had actually done sea trials yet. Um, if it's the one that everybody's identifying, which I haven't seen anybody say that it's not that specifically. Um, so it's great, but it's also a question of what did they learn when they hit that ship that can enable them to do other things. And what I actually find as interesting as that ship being hit, and so Andrew's zooming in right now on
It was
where
I can't remember where it was.
it
I
was
think you had your cursor on the right spot.
Okay, it was here.
There you go. Yeah. So not in dry dock, like we were when it was first reported, there was a whole bunch of people saying, oh, it was in the dry dock, and it wasn't in the dry dock. It seems as though it definitely took like some really major damage that probably will take it out for the long haul. And so all of those things are really good. What I think is just as interesting as that is MT Anderson about 3 hours ago put up a satellite image of Novorossiysk, and there is a lot less ships in that port than was than there was before that strike. Um, there's even ships that look like they just turned on their engines and are like warming up and deciding where to go, kind of a thing. Where they're going and what they're doing, we don't know those things. But it seems to me like this probably made Russia take action of some sort. We just don't know exactly what that action is. And that alone is a really, really good thing. There, I think the important takeaways are a ship got hit. That's great. It's probably out like forever. That's also great. And most importantly, it very much had an impact on Russia. We just don't know exactly what that is just yet. So all of these things are very, very good. And it also comes at the same time as Russia has, so late last week, we had more reports that Russia was dropping more mines in the grain corridor. Uh, so, like, even if it's just a response to the mines that are supposedly being laid in the grain corridor, I think it's another example of you cannot just play in the Black Sea the way you have always played in the Black Sea for the last number of years. You are at risk. And you need to remember that when you're in the Black Sea, if you're Russia. And this is just another example of that being the case, which is great. That's the consistent story we need Ukraine to be telling right now, and
Yeah.
Russia believing right now.
So I think it makes perfect sense to go after this ship. You know that it is sitting there. It's not moving, at least not very much. And it will start moving soon because it was nearing completion from what I can understand. I mean, I don't know how long it would take to enter service at this point, but there's a time. Like the clock was ticking down for your opportunity to go after this ship, and it's just sitting there. So I mean, you may as well, right? I mean, unless there's another ship that you can target, like if you know, like I don't know, like if a submarine is reloading or something, like if you had some other target, like maybe that would be better. But if you didn't, then this is the one to go for. Uh,
Absolutely. The fact that it was just starting to come online and you're taking it out before it even has an opportunity to do any damage, like that is a huge win and a huge bonus. And I do not mean to downplay that in any way, shape, or form.
yeah. So but we have a question about what missile shot it. I think it's been confirmed it was Scalp. Uh,
That's correct.
yeah, the Air Force came out and said that. I think like within a few hours, they were pretty proud of themselves. And I assume it was the longer range missile. In fact, I don't even. I mean, I don't know that much about Scalp. I don't know if there is a short range Scalp. I thought. I don't know. I can't really talk about it. But it was a Scalp, and I assume it was the longer range one. And it also seems clear that the missiles absolutely did not take the shortest path. They were taking a very windy path, especially the one that came from the south, which is definitely windy. So, whatever the range was, the straight line path, the path that they took was certainly longer. by some amount. I don't know how much, but so yeah, uh, I don't really I can't really talk more about the ranges of scalps and stuff.
Yeah. I mean, we need John. It's really what it comes down to. We need John if we're going to
Yeah,
talk.
yeah, I can't really. I just know that it was a scalp and it hit from the south, and I think that's the coolest part is hitting the ship from the south. Hitting it from the north, anybody can hit it from the north. It it takes a real badass to hit it from the south. So yeah, I drew some little circles. These are 200 kilometers and 400 kilometers. So it was probably like what 250 or whatever. I don't know. Anyways, it is interesting that they would withdraw from Novorossiysk. I'm not really sure where else they would go, but they just like keep going down the coast. They just keep running away. Is that the thing?
Well, and to be clear, we don't necessarily know that they're withdrawing per se. I mean, maybe they're moving back to Sevastopol. Maybe they're going out in the Black Sea for an attack, and tonight
Yeah.
there'll be launches on Odessa again. Um, it until we have more information, we don't know exactly what that means. We just know that they have moved out of Novorossiysk for the most part, or at least a large portion of them have, and that is something that's pretty notable.
Yeah. And Novorossiysk is not necessarily the best place to store your ships. It's a very wide open. Not too many natural barriers or defenses. Might be easy to attack you there. Uh, and also fewer facilities, which is nice because they never invested in it. Because who needs that when you have Sevastopol, right? So,
I will point out that that's actually kind of one of the things that made me a little bit sad about the strike was that it wasn't in a dry dock, and the more dry docks we can fill up with broken ships, the less dry docks they have to fix other ships that need just regular maintenance. So like, I'm not saying it's like a really bad thing or anything, but I'm inclined to take up a whole bunch of dry docks with a whole bunch of broken ships. It would make me pretty happy.
what if you wait for the dry docks to get full of ships and then attack the dry dock?
Well, to my knowledge, I would have to double check, but a fair number of the dry docks are full of ships. The last time I
Like
really looked hard,
like
um,
military ships or
like having ships having maintenance. And it doesn't really matter whether it's military ships or not. There are a number of military ships that were having maintenance. Um, but then there's like the SIG, which got hit by a sea baby. That needs a dry dock to be able to be fixing it. And if like it's a quote unquote civilian ship that has been operating for the Russian Navy and Army for like the extent of 2 years and before that as well. Uh, but but regardless, it's a quote unquote civilian ship that is taking up a dry dock. Well, that's a dry dock that can't be taken up by anything else.
yeah, a civilian ship that it
Yeah,
almost exclusively moves military equipment.
absolutely, exclusively. Yeah,
uh, but anyways, there was a strike on Odessa.
it was a
Uh,
big Odessa. It
I
was
don't
like,
know if you all I know about it because I don't follow boat stuff. So all I know is that they shot some missiles into straits, which upset people. They damaged a hospital, not a hospital, a museum. They damaged a museum on its birthday, which is rude. And that's all I know. It was his birthday, you know. Come on.
that museum is directly west of, you can see right in the top right hand corner of your screen right now, is a whole bunch of grain storage. what's great about that is that means that there's a whole bunch of grain loading around there. And I believe that's what they were actually targeting. John has mentioned a couple times that when they are using the Onyx missiles in a land strike capability, they are less accurate. And so I'm not entirely like, we don't know exactly what they were aiming at. But if you told me that the one that hit near the museum was just kind of off course, it wouldn't take a lot for me to believe you when you said that, because it is so close to the ports there. What they did specifically hit at the ports is a whole bunch of trucks that were lined up there filled with grain to be loaded onto ships. And they injured at least 8 people. So far, we don't know of any ships that were actually hit by debris or by missiles or shaheeds or anything else. But I'm not sure that we would necessarily know that that happened.
I do want to say that outside of the damage caused by this strike, there has been a massive social backlash against the Telegram channels in particular that posted the videos and photos of the damage. People are freaking out. I've seen a lot of push to ban those Telegram channels and or put the admins in prison. Now, I don't know if anything's going to happen. I'm not really trying to say. I'm not making a prediction. I'm just trying to point out what I see people saying, and these are just like normal people. Like when I'm looking at some chats that I've been in for the past like 2 years, and I see some bloggers that I've followed for a long time. They're outraged, like levels of anger that I don't see often at in particular this Telegram channel right there. Uh, they they want the admin basically thrown in prison.
Which, to put some context around that, when Odessa or even the Odessa Oblast is struck, I almost never see photos, video, any kind of coverage other than there was a strike on Odessa until at least 24 hours later, or like the next morning at the very, very earliest. And it always comes out from the official sources. We generally just don't get coverage of that because like the majority of people from Odessa are very, very good at OPSEC. They understand what they're dealing with and how important that is specifically for Odessa. And so you really don't get a lot of information out of there. And like kudos to everybody from Odessa that follows that, because you guys do a great job and I'm super impressed.
Yeah, the that Telegram channel was posting in like almost real time what was happening, and people are upset. And like you said, like the next morning, I don't know who is this, the national police or oh, this is the like the prosecutor's office, I think. Um, so they post the stuff like 7 hours later. They're like, instead of posting it in real time to give battle damage assessment to Russia in real time, you could have just waited like 7 hours and he like like come on.
I'm sure part of that is because it was such a long ongoing attack. Like, yeah, I'm inclined to agree that we probably should not have seen that information come out during the attack for sure. I
Uh,
mean, don't get me wrong, from for my job, it was really helpful. There were some things that I learned that night that I don't usually have the opportunity to learn. That was really great. But I am very aware of the fact that OPSEC, especially in Odessa, is a big deal. And yeah, I'm inclined to agree with that assessment.
So, is there anything else you'd like to talk about this strike? Was there another strike? Actually can't remember. It's the only strike I remember.
I think I don't remember off the top of my honest to God, days have started to really bleed
Yeah,
together in the
yeah,
last little while. So I'm not totally clear and will be the first to admit that.
yeah. I feel the same way. All the days bleed together. I have not had a full night's sleep in like 5 days, and the way it is right now. So I can't really remember the difference between 3 days ago and 4 days ago. It's been like it feels like one big day to me. So
Yeah, 100%. Like sleep is, I don't know who in the world actually gets real night's sleep, but I can guarantee you it is not Andrew and I. We are the last on the list of full night's sleep.
yeah. So I don't know. Is there anything else you'd like to talk about? Because I'm or I can go to the Dnipro.
Just generally, I would say for as much as we're seeing reports of mines being dropped in the Black Sea and all of these other things, there is a massive amount of commercial ships traveling back and forth to the Odessa area ports. They have been quite full. There has been lots of exports. The economy of Ukraine is absolutely benefiting from that whole the Navy should be really proud of themselves because they enabled that. It is a major success despite that strike. And yeah, I just kudos to anybody who's helping make that a reality because it's making my life really difficult because there's lots to track, but I will happily take that any day because it means Ukraine is being successful. And I am ecstatic about that.
Are there minesweepers doing anything? Because I don't.
So
I will-
Ukraine owns, this is tricky. Ukraine was gifted two minesweepers, Sandown class minesweepers from the UK last year. They have since been training to crews of Navy folks for those minesweepers. However, they are training in the UK, because it takes roughly 2 years, a year to 2 years to train up a whole bunch of sailors on how to use a brand new ship they've never been on before, especially to do minesweeping. But also because if they were brought into Ukraine, it's almost certain that they would be targeted like immediately, especially because minesweepers don't move particularly fast. It's quite a slow and laborious job. So there's, to my knowledge, and from all of the data points that I have to watch, there is nobody specifically dealing with any mines that may exist anywhere in the territorial waters of Ukraine.
well, that feels very safe, and I feel not stressed about that at all. Uh,
Welcome to my life.
I'm assuming like Romania is doing their waters.
Yeah, so Romania and Bulgaria and Turkey, I'll never get that one right. Anyways, that T country, they have been working as NATO partners on a demining mission, essentially around the Romanian water, basically all down that coast, to demine that area, actively demine it, because especially like there was a big storm the last week. So that often will break free tethered mines and they will start floating in and around that area. For as much as we don't hear reports in the news about mines breaking free, if you talk to people from Romania, they will tell you that so and so's grandpa was out fishing and he saw a mine and they had to call the Navy in, and so-and-so's uncle was out doing this and he saw a mine and had to call the Navy in. There are mines around. They just aren't necessarily being like they're being dealt with by the Navy before they're really causing havoc for the most part. But yeah, the Romania and Turkey and Bulgaria are all actively demining their waters right now.
Must be annoying.
I mean, so, like a little bit more context to that though. There's a huge number of World War II mines that float up in the Black Sea on coastal areas every year. It's like that hasn't stopped since World War II. So it's not like this is just a this year thing. That has always been the case since World War II. It just is obviously exacerbated by this current war.
Yeah, and whatever dent they were making in those old mines, now they have like they have all
Yeah,
these to deal with for the next like
exactly.
100 years or whatever.
Yep, that's 100% the case.
Okay, so moving on up the Dnipro, there was some interesting news yesterday that Krynky was struck by 12 bombs from the Russian Air Force. Um, a town that I think Russia still says that they control. They bombed with 12 bombs, which I think it's clear they don't control the town. Um, Now, the exact extent to which that they don't control the town is kind of unknown. A lot of people are making claims, and I don't really see too much evidence to back it. But um, the area that was bombed was roughly the area of this little forest. I'm going to turn off the colors just to make it easier to look at. There's this little forest here, and more importantly, this bigger, just like actually really big forest. So this forested area was struck. So I drew four little bombs here. There were 12. So that was interesting. Today, there were two missile strikes. Now, the type of missile I've seen a lot of people claim different types of missiles here. Um, one person said it was a helicopter guided missile. So like they're TV guided missiles. And then other people were saying that it was other types of missiles of various sorts. But either way, there was one missile strike here in that little forest, another missile strike over here in these houses or whatever. So it seems that this whole area, and then if we go back in the past, there have been Russian shelling over here, and there has been toss strikes and more toss strikes. So it seems that the kind of middle of this town, right around here, you could probably say it's Ukrainian controlled. And I have people all the time asking me why don't I do that, and it's because I'm conservative. That's why. I'm conservative in the way I map things. Um, I don't know why this is the wrong color. Anyway, uh, so so yeah, the Krynky, Russia's having problems in Krynky now. More zooming out a little bit more, we can see that um, Ukraine has been destroying Russian vehicles in on the roads to Krynky, and this main road here is more or less under Ukrainian fire control. And when I say fire control, I don't mean like artillery fire. It's more drones. It's under like drone fire control. Apparently, that's a thing now. And don't tell the United States though, because they don't believe in drones. But this road here is similarly under fire control, and this one might even actually be under normal artillery fire control. Um, this road back here is getting regularly harassed by drones, but I don't think it's under fire control. And this road here is very likely also under both drone and artillery fire control. So this town is kind of like an island because we have I'll turn off all the colors again just to make it easier. We have this town. On one side is this marsh and then the river, so that's like basically practically impassable for most things. Um, to the east, you have basically these two roads. Um, to the south, you have this big forest, and to the west, you have basically one road. So if you control these two roads, you control the town, and this is why Ukraine likes it here because you can move into the town, you can move into this forest where it's really hard to kick you out of the forest because you can just kind of move around the forest. You don't have to stay in one spot. You can be very fluid, and it's just hard to find you. So you can move into that forest. You can resupply over this marsh using various tactics of resupply that may not you may not find some of them in the textbook. That's all I'll say. And so yeah, this little town is kind of turning into a little tiny fortress that Ukraine can use as a springboard for further operations. What will those further operations be? One obvious step would be to kind of take control of this highway, or not. It's not really a highway. It's just anyway. This road. You can take control of this road conveniently through this forest that they're already moving through. So if you move down, you can start ambushing it and cut off reliable transit through these ambushes. And if you build up enough forces, you can completely take control of this road in the forest and cut this whole area in half, basically, so force you to go all the way around, which would be annoying. And you can use that to expand your area of control wherever you feel like it. So this area that Ukraine is attacking is very logical. And beyond that, they've been more or less training to attack here for like 3 years. Obviously, they didn't know Russia would come in and take the town, but they have been practicing their river crossings, etc. Basically attacking this same spot, and a few other spots along the river. They've been practicing for a few years, so I guess their practice is paying off. Now, there were some rumors that Ukraine crossed heavy equipment across the river, and I don't actually know if that's true. It's very confusing to me because there's so many videos of Ukraine crossing this river in training, and when you show me just like a video of Ukraine crossing the river, I don't know if that's from the training or not, and it's hard for me to interpret. So I don't actually know if I don't fully believe that they crossed with vehicles. Maybe they have, I don't know. But just the video doesn't convince me for the reason that there are a ton of videos of them crossing with vehicles, because it was training that they trained right here. So um I don't really know what else to say about this area other than there's a funny story, and this story really cracks me up, and I want to share it. Uh, Give me a second. I need to scroll up until I find the story. I take it. Anyway, give me a second. It's taking me longer than I thought to find it.
You scared me. I thought you had like a bond issue and all of a sudden your mic cut out. I was like, oh no, how am I going to fill in this one?
I uh I just can't find it. It's here somewhere. uh is this it? No. I'm just gonna keep scrolling. First, I want to say that this is part of the story. So this is part one of the story. You can see that Romanov posted this image with Krynky, Kherson region, Russia, of course. Romanov is a Russian propagandist. And then something funny happened shortly after. And I'm still looking for it. Okay, I found it. Because this is. Sorry, I'm cracking up. Just looking at it cracks me up. Okay, so you read it, please. I can't stop laughing. Okay, fine, I'll read it.
Some bloggers give incomprehensible maps that come from God. No, that come from God knows where. Literally, they also express gratitude to these bloggers who give the positions not of the Ukrainians, but ours, due to the fact that there are no connection in the NP itself. There is no reliable information on the whereabouts of our fighters. Some of the artillerymen take these very cards, which appear from God knows where, and cover their own positions. And now the question is, why the hell would someone not from the military mind their own business? Who the hell knows? That's amusing.
Yeah. So he's saying that Russian artillery is taking maps from the internet because they have no access to intelligence themselves. So they're going on the internet for maps and using those maps to shoot at Ukrainian positions. But the maps are wrong and they're shooting their own guys. Oh man, it cracks me up. It cracks me up. So this comment is about Krynky, and it, it tickles me that the basically responding to Romanov posting my map. Oh man, I mean, I'm not saying that the Russians used my map to shoot themselves, but I am saying that if they did, it's really funny.
How would you feel about that, Andrew?
It's really, really objective. It's just funny. It's just really funny. Anyways,
I think we may have lost him, folks.
okay. So, yeah. So, so that's I don't know what else to say about this area. Other than that, there really not much has changed. There were these missile strikes. There were some like a BTR exploded and some shellings and all the basic sorts of stuff that you expect to see. Other than that, there's not too much happened. Unfortunately, today in Berislav, not Berislav city, but the district of Berislav, a civilian was killed by a mine while farming or whatever. He died. So that was sad.
Is Russia still last week you were just saying that they were attacking like with bombs on the far side of the river
Oh,
a lot. Is that still the case or no, not so
oh
much?
yeah, I forgot to say this. Yesterday they dropped 80 bombs on Kherson.
Oh my
80.
God.
And that's not counting the 12 they dropped on Krynky.
That's a lot of bombs. I mean, why not go for 8 more and go for the even 100 though? Like really, they kind of failed that one.
Yeah. So yesterday they dropped 80 bombs. I don't have information on all of them. Kherson. I follow two major accounts in Kherson, and both of them they usually post a lot of images. I mean, a lot of information about airstrikes, but they didn't post any yesterday other than there were 80. They just said like today there were 80 airstrikes, and that's it. They was like they didn't say what districts they're in. They didn't say what towns they're in. They didn't say if anyone was injured or anything. It was just there are 80 bomb 80 airstrikes today. Thank you, Violet. That was very generous of you, Violet. Thank you. But yeah, there's that was the big news yesterday. Where they're striking, um, I did get some information yesterday, not from official sources, but in the form of videos posted by Russians, that there were a few airstrikes in Semivka, there were a few in Novoberislav, there were a few in Berislav. So those were all the ones I could geolocate. There were another two that I could not geolocate because, oh my god. I want to show you how hard it is to geolocate. This alone was hard to locate, but I want to show you the ones I couldn't locate because they're so hard. Um, so this one's easy to locate. So it's just this is Novoberislav. This was actually I think it may be an older strike because these are in Zimievka. Um, and then the next two, I think, were in Berislav. Yeah, these two in Berislav. These were hard to locate. But I found them eventually. These next two, ugh, how do you locate that? I don't know how. It's like, jeez, man, that was hard. Actually, I think I did locate these. Yeah, no, I can't remember which ones I didn't locate. No, yeah, it was these I couldn't locate. I found where this photograph is from, where the camera is. The camera is um where am I? I'm lost. Do you ever get lost on the map? Uh, Anyways, the camera's over here somewhere. Here,
You think
I
that
know my other map is easier to find because I have this overlay um because it lets you see um current reality. So it was right here. So the view is like that way. But anyways, those nighttime airstrikes are like one of the harder things to geolocate because you just have nothing to work with. It's just like you see an explosion very far in the distance, and you can't even tell how far away it is because like um uh, the the camera like the camera doesn't have like depth perception. So and you have no landmarks because you can't see anything. So anyways, uh, having this overlay makes identifying stuff so much easier. Um, anyways, uh, you were asking about airstrikes. Did I answer your question? I can't remember.
you did. You
Okay.
totally did.
Okay. So, moving on. The Nikopol area has been getting really heavily shelled recently. Especially kind of this area. But whatever. Um, Yesterday there was a very interesting video of a BTR-E2A rolling on up this little I'm gonna turn off all the thingies to make it easier to see. Oh, that's not the right thing. I'm gonna turn off the attack directions and the colors. Okay, so this BTR, it kind of started here, and I do want to state that this intersection of these three tree lines, Russia has lost a very large number of vehicles right here over the past like 2 weeks. Similarly, Ukraine has lost a whole bunch of vehicles like right here. So like a lot of those like leopards that were destroyed and whatnot, they were all lost like right over here. And Russia has lost a bunch of tanks and stuff here. So this has been like a bit of a battle going on. But anyways, a BTR took off from up here. It drove on up. It kind of was driving along this like tractor road or whatever, and shooting its gun into a tree, and kind of rolled up like this, and then turned around and ran away. So that was interesting because none of us really knew that Ukraine was necessarily here, but now we know they are. So that's interesting. At least that's a gray area. Because this is how I had it before. Because I was very conservative. A lot of people had this tree line as a gray area already, but I never saw direct evidence of that being true, so I never changed it. But then we did. You could even argue that Ukraine controls that tree line, but I don't typically work that way. I wait for more evidence to come out before I make changes. So yeah, that was interesting. And then today, Russia is really heavily shelling this tree line over here. So that's kind of the extent of the changes in the map down here. Now, I was very, very tempted to kind of make these last few houses in Novoprokopivka Russian controlled, because I'm not sure Ukraine is there anymore, and Ukraine is attacking here with drones and stuff. But that said, Ukraine has been attacking here with drones and stuff for a long time, and simultaneously, Russia also attacks there. So that's why it's been a gray area the whole time. But I don't know, maybe it should be Russian controlled now. But yeah, that's kind of the news for here. There was one very worrying piece of news today, exceptionally worrying, in fact. There was a actually let me check, because I just want to make sure I don't get this wrong, because it actually, if I read it wrong, it would make me feel better about myself, and I wouldn't be as sad right now. Where are you? Um, no, I didn't read it wrong. Well, that's upsetting. So in Mikhailivka, which is north of Zaporizhzhia, there was apparently a missile strike of some sort of missile that is not um, known. So here, I'll show you the text about that. This will be in maybe a language you don't understand. So I'll click translate it, and here we go. So at 5:30, Russia, let's put it that way, launched 2 rocket attacks on civilian infrastructure located in one of the settlements of Mikhailivska in the Zaporizhzhia district. The type of missiles is unknown. So what is so worrying about this? Because I don't actually know which town this landed in. But I do know that Mikhailivka has this bridge here, and it would be rather upsetting if that bridge were damaged. I don't know if the bridge is damaged. I did just kind of like mark the bridge because it's like the biggest piece of civilian infrastructure in the immediate area. But yeah, this missile strike was worrying. Now, I'm actually curious now. I'm going to I'm gonna go to Google Map and find the actual. Actually, I'm gonna go to OpenStreetMap because it'll be easier. And find the actual border of this Ramada or whatever it is. Okay, So this is the Ramada. Um, so I'm not sure what other infrastructure is here. So it would be like this town, which doesn't. I don't really see civilian infrastructure in that town personally. It could be this town, which I don't really see civilian infrastructure. Could be this town. Again, I don't really see civilian infrastructure, but I don't know. Maybe I am wrong, but this bridge appears to me anyway to be the biggest piece of civilian infrastructure that I see, and it would be sad for a bridge to be damaged. But I don't know. I guess we might find out more details tomorrow. Is there anything that Ukraine can do about those bombs? And the answer is no. There's nothing Ukraine can do about the bombs from Russia. Nothing. Your options for dealing with these bombs are basically you basically have three options. Option one is to destroy the aircraft while they're on the ground, which Ukraine has limited to no ability to do. You could throw drones at them, but that's not really successful. You could shoot missiles at them, but they don't really have missiles to do that. And yeah, no, I guess you could like try to sabotage them somehow. But anyway, destroying them on the ground, Ukraine has limited to no ability to do that. And to the extent to which they can do it, I'm sure they try to do it as often as they can. But again, they don't really have the ability to do it. The other thing you could do is move up your long range air defense systems and try to leverage those. That is dangerous in the sense that they could be destroyed because you have to move them up pretty far, and also completely impractical because Ukraine doesn't have enough air defense to defend itself, let alone act offensively with a defensive asset. So you would have to be doing some really radical, out of the box thinking to believe that Ukraine could push forward their air defense to shoot down these aircraft, because they only have what, like four of them or something, or like five or whatever of those air defenses, and they're defending major assets like cities and major infrastructure, and they can't even defend all the cities they want to defend because they don't have enough of them. And then the third thing you could do is have fighter jets with sufficiently long range weapons to engage the aircraft. And for that, you would basically need modern fighter jets, of which Ukraine has none of. So there's nothing Ukraine can do about it. Anyways,
Oh, shucks.
yep, it's frustrating. Even if Ukraine moved up all of their medium or whatever, I don't even know how you want to describe medium and long range air defense, but if they moved up all of their like second tier of air defense, like all their S-300 batteries and stuff, those aren't long enough range to hit those planes. So yeah, you basically need a Patriot or a SAM-T, and they don't have enough of either of those. In principle, they could move up their air defenses, but they're never going to. Well, I mean, in principle, they could. Like, they could do it. But the thing stopping them is politics. Like, basically, Zelensky doesn't want to be the guy who takes an air defense out of Kyiv, and then Kyiv gets like a bunch of missiles to the face. Like he doesn't want to move out some air defenses and then have the city pounded by missiles. And then it would make Ukraine rather upset if that happened. It would make the people of Kiev very upset to have that happen. So it is a very political thing. In principle, they could. In practice, they probably won't unless it's like an ambush, like a one-off ambush they could do probably. And I wouldn't put it past them. Like they could do it in principle, but as a long-term solution, they're definitely not doing it. Oh, and my jury duty, I didn't have jury duty. So, uh,
Hooray!
yeah. So that was happy. I'm not dooming. I'm just telling you the truth. Just telling you the truth. There's these airplanes, they're dropping bombs that have a 70-kilometer range, and Ukraine has air defense with an 80-kilometer range, which means that you would have to put your air defense within 10 kilometers of the front line to have any chance of shooting down the planes. And you'd basically have to put your air defense in mortar range to do that. And that's not going to happen. That's not how air defense works.
Well, and I mean, just generally, the air defense right now, especially in the winter, needs to protect a whole bunch of other assets that enable life and the economy to continue on for the rest of Ukraine. And like, even if you could put them in a position where they could be useful and not in danger, uh, you'd have to make that, as you just said, you'd have to make that decision between what is better and more important, people being able to heat their houses in the middle of winter or this.
Uh, anyways, I will. I'll just briefly talk about the jury duty thing. Basically, um, the way our jury duty works is that you have to call in on Friday night, and then they tell you when to show up. And when I called in, they said the entire group of jurors is dismissed. So nobody in my entire juror pool had to go for jury duty. We all got off. We won the lottery. No jury duty for any of us. Anyways, so that's what happened. Now, news in kind of the Velika Novosilka kind of area. I don't really have any news. Russia is kind of trying to attack towards Staromayorska from the west, trying to move down kind of this way. But I don't know of any recent successes. Yesterday, there was an interesting video of Ukraine moving in this area right here. I don't actually know what was going on in that video, to be fully honest. And I'm skeptical of when the video was filmed too. I don't know if it's recent. There have been a lot of videos from this area published recently that are old, that are very old actually. The Ukrainian Marines have been posting a lot of videos that they weren't allowed to post during the offensive. And now they are free to post them. So they've been posting all sorts of videos of stuff that happened in June, basically. And this video may have come from. Um, Now in the Vuhledar and Mikilska area, this whole attack to the east of Mikilska, from what I can tell, it didn't really amount to much. Russia may have taken some ground here, but this ground is not really worth talking about. It's like Like maybe they can dig into this tree line, maybe, and um, I don't think they made it to that forest even. So, so this kind of land here, it's just flat nothingness. It's not really anything to hang your hat on. If they start moving up these tree lines, that would be a totally different story. But to date, I don't know of any significant success from that attack that they did. Now over here near Novomikhailivka, yesterday, Russia posted a series of videos that seemed almost contradictory. Um, in one video, they extremely heavily shelled this tree line right here, and in the next video, they attacked along this tree line. They were moving east to west, trying to cross this road right here. This road, you can see, has these hedgehogs blocking the northern passage. So that the hedgehogs are basically across the road here, and they lost a BMP, they lost a MTLB, and they were getting shelled in the process. So I don't know of any particular success here. Just both of these videos combined confused me. They seem like almost contradictory. That like they're kind of implying that Ukraine is here and also not here at the same time. Maybe this is a gray area. Maybe it's not. I also don't know which video came first or second. Like, did they attack, get repelled, and then shell here? Or did they shell here, Ukraine withdrew, and then they attacked? I don't know. Um, but anyways, I haven't changed the map because it confuses me. And and today they were shelling the town here, and yeah, not terribly uh, interesting stuff going on there right now. So um, Avdiivka was very heavily bombed today. There were 12 airstrikes there. I saw a lot of comments from both Ukrainian and Russian sources talking about how the city was more or less on fire. Oh, speaking of which, today Vuhledar was also pretty much on fire. So maybe from the same fate. I'm not really sure. It looks like anyway. So Avdiivka was getting really heavily bombed. We do. Oh my God, Google. We were talking about this right before we started the stream, where Google just undoes your exports, and this is another example of just Google doing their thing. I'm actually annoyed at this. Like I'm tempted to fix it live on stream because it really annoys me, to be honest. Anyways, we know that Russia has crossed this area of the train tracks, and they're digging in on the opposite side of the train tracks, very close to Stepova. Beyond that, I don't know of any major changes in the area. And I'm going to update the map right now because this is annoying me. I don't. I hate that Google does this. It makes me kind of tilted, honestly. Oh boy. Oh, uh oh. I didn't mean to do that. Here. Okay, it should work now.
Interestingly, my version of the stream is somehow frozen. I'm going to restart really quick. I'll be right back.
Okay. Let's see if it worked. Did it work? I might have to reload the map actually. Dude, I'm so tilted. hate Google so much.
Hey,
Okay,
I can see.
sweet. Uh, I re-exported the map, and it's still broken. It's still broken. Anyways, okay. So I'm kind of derailed now. Uh, anyways, so Avdiivka, I don't think there has been too much change other than this area around the railroad tracks. I do, like I said last time, I think Russia is taking turns attacking different areas of the line, trying to force Ukraine to defend basically everywhere. Now, I don't know if this strategy will work or fail, but I do think this is their general strategy. And lately, they attacked Mikilska. More recently, they attacked Novomikhailivka. I do somewhat expect them to attack Krasnohorivka next, maybe Mariinka, and and then or soon enough they will probably attack Avdiivka again, and perhaps this area, southwest of Avdiivka, they could attack Pervomaiska, they could attack Sevierna or Tonenka, or wherever they want to go, or just attack Avdiivka from this direction. So I do think, and also they'll probably be attacking towards Novokalinovo. So and again, it is possible that Russia captured this part of Novokalinovo, but I still haven't seen proof of that, so I haven't changed my map yet. So yeah, this I do think that Russia is kind of taking turns attacking everywhere. They don't appear to be attacking one place, or attacking multiple places at once, or at least maybe not more than two at once, because the Mikilska and Novomikhailivka attacks kind of occurred at roughly the same time. Um, but yeah, there's they're not doing multiple like really big attacks. Each of those attacks were kind of small-ish, not super big, but um, um, I have not seen specific evidence of North Korean ammo. No, although I suspect it's being used. I don't really see a reason why it wouldn't be used. Um, I don't know what really the difference will be. I know people are speculating that North Korean ammo has about a 25% failure rate, and I don't actually know if that's true or not. It might be true, or it might be false. Um,
I don't think we have enough data to assess that yet.
yeah. I mean, I'm not sure if we even know what Russia's failure rate is. Really, especially because it's really a moving target, because it's kind of like each storage place, like each warehouse, each source of ammo, I'm sure, has different failure rates. And I don't know if you can, if even like averaging them all out does it justice, you know? So moving on up towards Klashivka. I need to delete these blue arrows because Ukraine isn't really attacking anymore. Russia is attacking around Klashivka. They've been attacking basically everywhere, trying to push Ukraine back. They've had some successes, and other places they've failed. So they've been attacking along this railway, where um, Ukraine has been fighting back with artillery and drones, etc. But um, and they've also been attacking along this area of the railway. So Russia's main goal, it appears, is to push Ukraine all the way back across the railway and to reestablish their control of the railway itself. And Ukraine is trying to resist that To an extent. I'm not really sure how much Ukraine is willing to commit to holding these defensive lines that they currently have, but I'm sure they're not going to give them away for free. Um, North Korea has, if not the largest stockpile of ammo in the world, one of the largest. They are paranoid in the way that they manufacture their stuff. Um, and artillery. You have to keep in mind that North Korea is like in a war, like actively. Like the war never ended, right? So North Korea views itself as a country that's basically at war right now, and artillery is their main weapon in that war. It's basically the thing that has stopped anyone from getting involved in the war. That's why it's basically nothing's changed in decades, because North Korea has the ability with the artillery to more or less completely destroy South Korea in a very short span of time. So questioning North Korea's ability to have ammo or manufacture ammo is silly, because they have a lot of ammo. They produce ammo. The ammo that I believe is being sent to Russia was produced, I'm pretty sure, between 2010 and 2020. It's like relatively new ammo. Their ammo is not the best quality in the world, but it's ammo. So, um, north of Bakhmut, um, Russia has been counterattacking and taking back pretty significant amounts of land, pushing Ukraine away from Berhivka, moving they are moving down. I'll turn off the colors, or maybe let's make it light mode. I'll make it like this. Why not? That's cool. I'll make it light mode. Light mode. Okay, so I don't know what to do. Maybe I'll. Ah, yeah, cool. Okay, so they've been pushing down this railroad, and so these markers today are locations of Russian infantry. I don't know if they've actually controlled that area, but these areas that Russian infantry have been operating, and they've been pushing Ukraine back. Um, I don't know exactly how far Ukraine is willing to fall back before they're going to kind of dig their heels in and defend. Because at the moment, I don't get the impression that Ukraine feels that that territory was worth defending too strongly. They defended it, but not that strongly. They let it go. So this, I think there is a line at some point. I don't know where it is, but there will be a line probably before this bend in the highway. So it'll be like up here somewhere. Um, there will be a line where Ukraine, I doubt, will be willing to lose anymore, and we're probably getting close to that line. And I'm not sure what Russia will do once they hit it. Because Russia may not really be willing to commit to an attack either, and then we might just end up with a static line like over here. Um, and yeah, so everywhere north of there, I don't really have any news. So there is this one interesting thing that happened today. I think I can show this video. This video is very weird. Um, so this video depicts first a UR-77, which is a Miklik, basically. It's a mine clearing line charge. So it fires off its mine clearing line charge towards this trench line, and it explodes as it does. Okay, so and then um, it will cut to a second Miklik line exploding, and then I believe these are TOS. So that's a whole lot of, I believe the technical term is hate. A whole lot of hate landing roughly right here in this forest. So the Miklik, the UR-77 was like right here, and it was shooting its line charge, and its line charge was like landing right here, and I believe there were two line charges there, followed by a toss. So that's what happened in the forest near Kremenov. To the north of that, I really have no news, to be honest. There's fighting around here near Personal Trevneva. I don't know if the front line is moving or if this is all just a giant gray area. The Russians kind of move their vehicles across and they all tend to explode roughly in the middle of that field. And I'm not really sure anything's changing. Yeah, no, this video does not depict a Miklik exploding. It depicts a Miklik shooting explosives at a trench. See, it shoots explosives. The vehicle is not destroyed. It shoots a line. It blows up this trench line, basically. And then I believe there's a second line charge fired because there's this quick edit. There's this edit, and then it looks like this is another line charge to me. So it looks like you can see that first line charge is right there. You can see the scarring. Like you can see this line is a scar. That's where it all exploded. And I think this is a second one right here. And then there's another edit, another really quick edit. And then there's TOS. See, these are TOS. So these are thermobaric rockets. All in basically the same area. So, and, oh boy. So I think this line right here, I think that line is the first Miklik, and I think this line is the second Miklik, and I think that's the TOS. So it's all in like roughly the same spot. So yeah, that's kind of all the news I got. That's it. I don't really have anything else to talk about. There was a reported strike on Krynky today. I talked about this the strike in the Mykolaievka area. There was a strike in the Komi area, and also here, and yeah, so loads of strikes. The northern border, there's a lot of Russian activity. Like a few times a month, they try to cross the border into Sumy, but they don't really have much success. There are a ton of reports that I see every single day from a source that I think is very, very accurate. And they constantly talk about unspecified locations in Sumy getting hit by airstrikes. But those airstrikes are never reported. But on the flip side, Ukraine almost never reports an airstrike on a military target. They usually only report it if it's in a civilian area. So if they're hitting like truly military targets where there's no civilians around, I don't think Ukraine would talk about it. So, but I do hear about those strikes. Like there's like 2, 3 a day usually. And they never state what town they're in. Sometimes they state what the target was. Like we fired a missile into a communication tower, or we dropped a bomb on this building or whatever. Sometimes they state things like that, but they never give specifics to the extent where I can map it or even really look it up, and it's really difficult to verify because there's no one else is really reporting it. But the reason I trust those sources is because whenever they say a lot of things that are difficult to verify, but they also say things that I can verify. And every time I've been able to verify whether they're right or wrong, they've completely been 100% correct. So that's why I trust them, but yeah. They never give specifics on stuff, so uh, it's always very vague. All right, so I think that's the stream. Exit, do you have anything to say?
I really like your flork.
Yeah, he's annoyed. If you hover over him, he says things. Although it's not working right. Oh, I think my tooltips are. Anyway, oh, there he is. He refused to leave because we had our Halloween party on the map, and
Mhm.
the other flork, he took down the decorations. He got rid of the jack o' lantern. He got rid of the bats and stuff. But this flork, he took off his costume and put on his hat, and he refused to leave. He says he lives here now.
I like him. Does he have a name?
I haven't asked.
I feel like you should ask commenters to suggest names.
He could, yeah, name the flork. Yeah.
I like.
He's a bit grumpy, to be honest. He has opinions. Let's put it that way. He has opinions. He sticks to them. He doesn't necessarily voice them, but he has them. You know what I mean? Anyways, that's the stream. Thank you for coming, everybody. I'll be back on Friday. And Exit, you have an interview on Thursday, right?
I do have an interview on Thursday.
Yes.
I'm super excited about that.
With an extremely important person.
Is it you?
No.
Oh, okay. Just checking.
No, on the bond space. Right?
Yeah. I was just kidding around.
Yeah, yeah.
Don't mind.
So he is an extremely important person. Do you want to talk about him? Say who he is.
I want to hear why you think he's an extremely important person. I feel like this is like really important.
Well, you should say who he is first.
Okay. I am not confident I'm pronouncing his name properly, so this is going to make me either look like a total goofball, or that's fine. Jahara Matasek. Does that sound right? Do you know?
That's close enough.
Okay. So he's from the Naval War College, and he's also a fellow at Irregular Warfare.
Yes.
But I want to hear why you are so excited.
Yeah. The reason he is so important is because his job is to analyze like what the United States is supposed to like learn from the Ukraine war. And I believe he's supposed to suggest what items Ukraine needs. I think those are like two of his duties. So he's a very important person. Very important.
So also his area of research is sorry, I'm just pulling it up. It's essentially the evolution of the battle space. He has a book that he's put out on it, co-authored, called Old and New Battle Spaces, Society, Military Power, and War. And so part of the reason that I asked him to come on tomorrow is that obviously Zaluzhny, in his pieces for The Economist, specifically talked about how he thinks one of the ways to move through some of the barriers that they're facing right now is to innovate. And so I wanted to hear an opinion on that and some feedback.
Yep. I'll tell you what, a lot of people are very excited to listen to him talk. And I think everyone should listen to the interview because he's an extremely important person. Everybody who like knows who he is, you know what I mean? Like they know like his job. They want to hear him talk, and you should want to hear him talk too.
Very cool.
All right, so that'll be on Thursday, and I'll be back on Friday for my stream. And goodbye, everybody.